All right. Good morning. No, actually, it's afternoon. It's 12:15. Today is. Hi. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2026. Hi. Let's take a look at this sign real quick. Cool. So we are at a place I parked at one time before, and I will zoom in on that right now. That is right. Where is it? Okay, right there. Sturgeon. Alright. Alright, so this is I forgot to start this workout. It's a good thing to do. I'm rusty. I haven't done this for a while. Alright, let's try this walk. Alright, so let's get into the explanation. So, it's been 6 weeks since I've been out on the trail. So, the history is Monday, July 13th, when I got out of bed, I couldn't walk too good. I had this sore lower back and hip issue. I better slow down, go slow here. Don't want to overdo it. And so I was pretty bummed out. You know, I didn't do anything that day. I think I went to some stores shopping, but it was like touch and go whether I could walk into the stores and stuff. But then Tuesday, the 14th of July, I felt better. So I came out here, and I came exactly to here, the Sturgeon trailhead on the Panhandle Trail. And I walked in the other direction towards McDonald. And I did okay. I think I went about, somewhere around 2 miles, not that much. Total of 2 miles roughly. And it was super hot. Remember those days in July, man, they were killers. It was so hot and humid. It was like in the 90s, and it was like when you were breathing, you couldn't even breathe. It was like a sauna, the humidity. All right, so that day I was able to do that walk. I had a little trouble, but not too much. The next day was the 15th of July, and I tried to go out here to Quicksilver on the Montour Trail, and I couldn't do it. I started, let's take a look at this sign right here. Panhandle Trail, 5.5 miles. I don't know what that refers to. That's a different mileage numbering system than what I'm used to. Anyway, that Quicksilver one on the 15th, that did it. I got out of the car, I was trying to walk, and all of a sudden I started limping. And I thought, I better stop right now because I cannot walk. I'll be lucky if I can get back to the car. So I did that, and that was it. That was the last time. So in that 6 weeks, I didn't do any kind of outdoor walking or even any mall walking indoors or anything. I had to go to some appointments, a few, like a doctor's and like a car appointment, for maintenance or, inspection stuff. I had to do a couple of things during that 6 week period. That was really tricky because, you park the car and you got to walk in. You want to walk from the parking lot into the place or whatever. And it's like, man, I don't know if I can make this. And obviously, in those 6 weeks, you need to go to the grocery store And grocery store maybe a couple times a week. So I do that. And I'm going to have to slow it down a little bit. Okay. What I started doing right away is, you park the car and you're near one of those shopping cart little stalls they have. I said, okay, I'll just grab a cart real quick and that'll help me walk in. So that's what I did. Every time for 6 weeks, I'd go grab a cart and walk in, sort of like a walker or a crutch to help you take the pressure off, compensate for this. I think I'm going a little too fast, but I'm feeling better. It's not quite right yet, but it's not where I can't walk. There's a slight limp there. You just better not overdo it. So how far have we gone? We're going like 0.2 miles roughly. This is not going to be a long one. But I wanted to come. Actually, what I did is I drove down to Noblestown first because I had never parked at that trailhead. It was full, so I couldn't park there. So I came back up here to Sturgeon. I figured, well, I only been to that one time before, and then this is the second time. And I never went in this direction. So this is something new. Always try to do something new. Now there's Sturgeon right over here. I grew up, well, starting in 8th grade, we moved out here to the Sturgeon area. I didn't live too far away from this, and my dad he joined this volunteer fire department. We'd come down here a lot. I'll tell you one thing. Walking outdoors is way different than like being at home, walking around in your living room and stuff. You think you're doing all right, and then you come out and you do something for real, like in the real world. It's like, whoa. See, I think I'm going a little too fast. I don't want to push it, man. I don't want to go backwards. These have been some really depressing weeks because, seriously, when you can't walk, you're starting to think all kinds of negative thoughts about the future, like, am I ever going to be able to do this again? Or would I end up like having to take a cane with me and try to walk with a cane? That would be ridiculous. Although I've seen people do it. We're going 0.25. I always come to these places at the wrong time. I come like around lunchtime. Because, see, I'm retired and I don't get up early anymore. Or, I mean, I get up, but I don't want to get out, and I don't have anything pressing that I need to hurry up and get out and move, I just take my time and do what I want. Consequently, I don't get out to these places until like around noon. And that's when it's the busiest. And parking lot was almost full there. I did grab that end spot. That's real important. To grab an end spot. That's my thing. Gotta have an end spot or it's a no-show, no-go. I think we're gonna go. I don't know, man. I'm starting to get. I'm not in the groove yet here with this leg. I found out like last Friday, I went shopping in the grocery store, and it was starting out, it was like really stiff and limping and stuff. But after a while, walking around the store, it got great. And it felt like normal. Hi. Well, this is nice. I have never been on this section of the Panhandle Trail before. There's a couple places, like I haven't been here all the way down to, say, Oakdale, and then from Oakdale all the way down to where the Nike site road is. I haven't been on any of that. I've been on in the other direction. I was here in July 14th. And I went towards McDonald. In previous years, I had come from McDonald up to that same point. So I covered all that. July 8th, I was in Primrose. And went from Primrose all the way up to Midway. That was the day, July 8th, I think is when this really started to happen to my hip. Because I walked, on that day it was like super hot again. You had those heat waves. And I'd been going on in the heat waves. And that particular July 8th was pretty hot. And I went from Primrose up to Midway and back. And that day in particular, I went a total of 3.6 miles. And I think that did it to me, because when I was about, I don't know where it was, 2/3 of the way done with the whole trip, I pivoted at one point. I said, ooh, I feel something funny in my hip. Hi.
Hi.
See, just now, I'm starting to feel better. It is so confusing what's going on with this thing. I spent the first 3 weeks, like, I wasn't doing the right thing. Maybe I wasn't putting ice. I should have been putting ice on it, because it was like feeling kind of swollen back there in the back, lower back. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was trying to look up stuff on the internet. And eventually I thought, well, okay, I'm going to go. I have to go to my cardiologist for just a routine appointment that was scheduled, every 6 months or whatever. I thought I'll just ask him a bunch of questions. He's a great guy, man. He helps me out on everything. He's great. And so I'm in there talking all about this hip and back thing. And we talk about walking. We talk about the Panhandle Trail. We talk about the Gap Trail. We end up like spending the whole time talking about other things instead of your heart. It checks you out and everything. Does all the routine stuff and you're good. It's like, ends up talking about trail walking and camping, whatever. So anyway, he gave me some advice. And I've been following that. So I did start putting ice on it before I went to see him, because I thought, well, I think I should be putting ice on this because it feels swollen. Even though that was like a 3-week-old thing by that point, I was putting heat on it instead of ice. So anyway, that's ancient history. We're doing pretty good right now. So I would say the first 3 weeks I didn't know what the hell I was doing. The last 3 weeks here I've been getting on the mend every day, I would say, roughly. So since last week, this is the best I've felt ever since maybe the beginning of last week till this week, till now. I'm going to wait till we get to 0.5. We're almost at 0.5. Okay, we're at 0.5 miles. I think we're going to stop. We're not going to press it, you know, we're not going to push it. I want to go further, but alright, so that's heading towards Noblestown, which we're not going to go to, obviously. It's a little too far for me right now. And then that is back to Sturgeon, where I parked, way up there. There's a selfie. Straighten that out. All right, so that goes to Noblestown. And that goes back to Sturgeon, where I parked. All right. Okay, so we're at 0.5. We're going to head back now. I'm going to start slow. Don't do anything stupid. Maybe this was even too much. See, what I noticed is this always happening ever since this started. Was I will start walking, I might be okay for a little bit, but then I stop, and it kind of goes back to zero, and it starts all over again. You gotta worm your way back up to it. Let me get a drink of water while we're at it. I just don't want to do any damage to this that messes me up for another week or something after. And you get out here, you do this, and then you're going to be screwed up again. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Well, what I've been doing for these 6 weeks is, like I said, I had to go to some appointments and can't get out of those, and I had to go to the grocery store every couple times a week or whatever. But other than that, I've been staying home. It's so depressing. I'm just sitting around and trying not to just sit. I mean, trying to walk around a little bit to keep it active. But all those days went by, and the weather got better, like as far as the heat wave. It cooled down a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I could be out on the trail right now. Am I ever going to be able to do the trail again? I'm going slow now because one of the key things that helped me is putting heat on, or like even say like after you take a shower, like real hot and everything, and then you go out. After you've done that with the heat or hot water shower, hi, all your muscles are relaxed, and it makes it easier to walk and stuff. Only this isn't feeling too great right now. Let's see if I want to get it back into that. How do you get it back into that position where it was feeling real good just about, 5 minutes ago? Well, at least I'm on a trail. That's another thing. I've been watching tons of videos. Watching my videos that I've made. Rewatching them and like thinking, oh man, I wish I was there. I wish I was there. What's that noise? Or watching other people's videos. I don't know if this is a smart thing to do or not. I just really needed to do this to feel better about everything. So if I was in a grocery store right now, I'd have that cart and I'd be holding on to that and, putting the pressure with this arm here. It's like if you had a cane or something. You're diverting it from your leg down to your other parts of your body, and it's helping you. But I don't have any kind of cart or cane right now. And a walker. I mean, it might come down to that one day, where the only way to do something like this is to have a cane or a walker. I mean, you'd feel pretty stupid about it. But, at least you'd be able to do it. I'm going to take shorter steps, maybe. Hi. You see, the thing that led up to this, why did this start? Why did I get this? Why did this happen? There were some things that I was doing right at the beginning of July, June 30th and July 1st, for example. I got that new computer and I was all fired up about doing all these things with those, those video files and preserving these walk videos, and I was all fired up about stuff, and I was working on a computer, and I spent about a week where I didn't get much sleep at all, maybe 3 or 4 hours a night. So lack of sleep was one thing. One of the main things was working on the computer stuff, spending a lot of time on my knees, believe it or not. Instead of say sitting at a desk or something, I had this thing at home where I was sitting, I had this on a lower table kind of thing, and I'd get down on my knees and start doing all this typing and stuff. And I'd be on my knees for a long period of time. And I remember saying, you know what, this ain't feeling too great. Okay, so that's the second thing. And the third thing was, during that whole time period, I was going out into that extreme heat and humidity doing these walks. And they were long walks. Yeah, I remember, for example, July 2 was a Thursday, I think. Yeah, July 2, I went out to the Field of Dreams out there in Bulger to Midway there. It was unreal, unbelievable hot, unbelievable heat and humidity. That's one of the worst places to go if you got heat and humidity, because there's no shade. The giant field, there's no shade. But I did it anyway. And I think I did an indoor mall walk next. And then on July 8th, so I came down here to Primrose. Hi. Came down here to Primrose and I walked to Midway and back. Yeah, I was talking all about this computer crap and DRM protected files from Apple and all this other crap. That was another real hot one. And I went, the total was 3.6 miles, which is, my average used to be 1.5 in one direction and 1.5 back. That's 3 total average. I did a lot of walks this past summer here that were way beyond 3. And that one in particular was 3.6. Then I think also after that's done, I had to go to the grocery store, walk all around the grocery store. That was my last real long walk. Hi. Hi. The next week on July 14th, I came here to Sturgeon and went towards McDonald. That wasn't as long. That was a shorter one. It was really hot and humid. I couldn't even breathe good on that day. But I would say that was my last, longer type walk. It was shorter than normal, total of a couple miles instead of like 3, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. What typically happened here in these last 6 weeks was I might find, the grocery store and the cart and everything, feel good with the cart there. They got the support. You're like, get that crutch there so you're not going to fall or something. You're not going to fall down. And you start feeling pretty good. But later in the night, or even the next morning, you'd feel it in other muscles. Like on my other leg, my good leg, I had a real bad feeling in my foot from all the pressure that I was putting on that. You can't win. I'm like, oh man. One injury leads to another injury. Well, right now it feels loosened up. So one of the key things I need to do before the summer's over, before the season's over, I got, I lost 6 weeks. 6 weeks of some decent stuff. Hi. I need to go back to that Field of Dreams. I was there last Tuesday. I drove and I parked there and I was just like reminiscing. And I was all sad about it and everything. And I'm like, well, I wanted to come down here because I miss it so much. But I didn't want to try to take a chance walking because that's a little far. Like today here, we just turned over 1 mile total. Half a mile one direction, half a mile back. Hi. that restaurant right there, Hunter's. There's that Valentours. Let's see, Valentours Restaurant and Pub. I've never been at that. I'm gonna block my license plate from the view here. Alright. So now I hate to actually quit. I really feel like I want to do more, and I think I could do more, but I don't want to hurt myself. I want to save it up. So we're going to stop. We're in Sturgeon, PA. Let's do one last selfie, or one last photo of everything. Video. A video. There's that Hunter's place. And there's a road. And then there's my vehicle. And then there's a selfie. So here's a selfie where I'm at. There's the vehicle. There's that hut. Alright. It's almost like I don't want to quit, but I gotta quit. So we're gonna sign off right now. Monday, August 24th. First walk in 6 weeks. Feeling alright. Later. Bye-bye.